In the ruins of a city even older than the Great Pyramids of Egypt, scientists found something that, well, it just shouldn't exist, and it raises a really disturbing question about our own past.
I know. It sounds completely impossible, right? Like something out of a movie. But some of the evidence found at this place, Mohenjo-Daro, is deeply, deeply unsettling. And it all begins with the people themselves.
So archaeologists started digging, and they found skeletons. But they weren't in graves. They were just scattered all across the city streets. Some were even found holding hands, others face down, as if some sudden, immense force just stopped life in a single instant.
And then you have the buildings. Get this, the city's bricks were literally fused together, vitrified into glass. Now, a normal fire can't do that, not even close. This requires an absolutely unimaginable level of heat. And finally, here's the most chilling clue of all. When scientists ran tests, they discovered that certain areas of this ancient city have radiation levels that are significantly higher than the surrounding region. It's a total anomaly that has no simple explanation.
Okay, so what was this place? Let's take a closer look at the city itself, because understanding just how advanced it was makes its sudden end an even more profound puzzle.
You have to picture this. We're talking around 2600 BC. That's ancient. While much of the world was still deep in the Bronze Age, Mohenjo-Daro was a marvel of urban planning. It was this sophisticated, thriving metropolis. But here's the key difference. Unlike other great ancient cities, it didn't just slowly fade away. The evidence all points to the entire city being wiped out in a single, catastrophic moment.
And this is where a fringe theory goes from just unsettling to truly extraordinary. It argues that all this evidence lines up with something we only discovered how to create in the 20th century.
Remember those melted bricks? To fuse brick and sand into actual glass, you need temperatures soaring past 2,000 degrees Fahrenheit. That is hotter than most volcanic lava. So the crucial question becomes, what kind of natural event could possibly generate that kind of instantaneous, widespread heat?
So after the atomic bombs were used in World War II, some researchers started noticing these unsettling parallels. They argued that the similarities between the destruction at Hiroshima and Nagasaki and what they saw in the ruins of Mohenjo-Daro are just shocking. You have a flattened epicenter, you have evidence of a massive shockwave, and you have materials melted by intense thermal energy.
And the people who support this theory will tell you that the physical evidence doesn't exist in a vacuum. If you look into ancient Indian texts, like the Mahabharata, you find these absolutely chilling descriptions of superweapons. They talk about a single projectile that could destroy the land, cause people's hair and nails to fall out, and poison the water. I mean, doesn't that sound eerily like a modern account of nuclear fallout?
But, of course, there are other, more mainstream scientific explanations for what could have happened at Mohenjo-Daro. So let's take a look at the counter-arguments to this whole atomic theory.
Skeptics suggest the radiation could simply be from naturally occurring uranium deposits in the soil, which, isn't that uncommon in that part of the world. As for the skeletons, they argue they could have been victims of a sudden virulent disease, or maybe even a massive, catastrophic flood from the nearby Indus River that left bodies unburied and scattered.
And here's where the conventional explanations really face their biggest challenge. A flood or a disease might explain the bodies, sure, but neither one can account for the vitrified bricks. This single, stubborn fact keeps the mystery alive and forces us to consider these more radical possibilities. So what if Mohenjo-Daro wasn't a one-off event? What if it's just one piece of a much larger, hidden puzzle about the very nature of human civilization itself?
The history of this atomic theory is fascinating all by itself. Back in 1979, a Soviet researcher went public, claiming he had found definitive proof of an ancient atomic explosion. And then nothing. Silence. His work was quietly dismissed with no mainstream follow-up, which just adds this whole other layer of conspiracy to an already deep mystery.
This all leads to a really radical idea, that human progress isn't a straight line that's always going up. Maybe it's a repeating cycle. Civilizations rise, they achieve these incredible technological heights, and then, through arrogance or conflict, they misuse that power and destroy themselves, sending humanity right back into a dark age to start all over again. And that brings us right to the present day. Because this ancient mystery isn't just about the past, it serves as a direct and maybe very urgent warning for our own time.
The parallels to our own world are impossible to ignore. Today, we have civilization-ending weapons. That incredible power is concentrated in the hands of just a few nations. It's backed by immense wealth, and it's all shrouded in secrecy. We may be living in the very same conditions that some people believe led to Mohenjo-Daro's complete and utter destruction.
The thing is, the ruins of Mohenjo-Daro have no inscriptions to tell us what happened. There are no survivors. There's just stone and dust. The lesson here is a subtle one. It's a whisper from the deep past, but it's only for those who are willing to listen.
So, the ultimate question isn't just what happened 5,000 years ago. The real mystery, the one we have to ask ourselves, is whether we've learned anything at all, or if we're simply destined to become the next forgotten civilization in a long repeating cycle of self-destruction.